Tesfaye, born on February 16, 1990, in Toronto, Canada, to Ethiopian immigrant parents. His father left when he was young, leaving Abel to be raised by his mother and grandmother. Inside their home, Ethiopian culture was strong. Traditional food, language, and music filled the space, grounding him in heritage even as the world outside felt unstable. Abel's grandmother often played Ethiopian jazz and soul, sounds that would later echo subtly through his music. At the same time, Abel was absorbing Western influences: Michael Jackson, Prince, R&B, hip-hop, and alternative music that spoke to emotion and identity. Music became more than entertainment. It became escape. But Abel's childhood was marked by isolation. His mother worked long hours, and Abel often found himself alone, navigating the streets and his own thoughts. By his teenage years, he had dropped out of school and begun drifting between apartments and friends' couches. Freedom came fast, and so did its consequences. Drugs, instability, and uncertainty became part of daily life. Yet within that chaos, Abel found something rare: clarity. He began writing music not to impress, but to survive. Every lyric became a confession. Every melody carried emotion he couldn't say out loud. This wasn't a polished origin story. It was raw, uncomfortable, and real. And it was from this environment, caught between culture and chaos, that the voice of the Weeknd was born. By 2010, Abel Tesfaye was at a breaking point. He had dropped out of school, left home, and was drifting through Toronto with no clear direction, only emotion. Instead of chasing stability, Abel chose transformation. He erased his past and created something entirely new. He became the Weeknd. The name itself was symbolic, inspired by a weekend when he left home and never looked back. Even its spelling, missing the final E, felt deliberate, incomplete, mysterious. It wasn't just a stage name. It was a mask. Abel began recording music in silence. Late nights, dark rooms, minimal equipment. He uploaded songs anonymously to YouTube and Tumblr. No photos, no biography, no interviews. Listeners didn't know what he looked like. They didn't know his age, his background, or even his real name. What they did know was how the music made them feel. The sound was unlike anything else: slow, seductive, haunting. The lyrics were explicit, vulnerable, and emotionally raw, exploring love, addiction, emptiness, and desire without glamour or moral filters. It felt dangerous. It felt real. Word spread quickly. Blogs shared links. Fans passed songs like secrets. The mystery became part of the experience, exposed it, and listeners couldn't look away. The mixtape spread rapidly across the internet, earning critical praise and building a devoted following. Artists and producers were listening. Fans were dissecting lyrics, and one name in particular helped push the movement forward: Drake. His public cosign brought even more attention, but the Weeknd remained hidden, refusing to step fully into the spotlight. That same year, Abel released 2 more mixtapes, Thursday and Echoes of Silence. Together, they formed a trilogy that redefined modern R&B. The sound was minimal, emotional, and deeply personal, influencing an entire generation of artists who followed. Still, the face behind the voice remained a mystery, and that secrecy only made the music stronger. The Weeknd had done something rare. He created a cult following without ever asking for fame. The night belonged to him now. As the Weeknd's cult following continued to grow, the industry could no longer ignore him. In 2012, his 3 groundbreaking mixtape House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence were officially compiled and re-released as trilogy. What began as anonymous internet uploads had now become a defining body of work. Trilogy introduced the Weeknd to a wider audience, but it also marked the beginning of a complicated relationship with fame. For the first time, Abel Tesfaye was touring internationally, performing night after night for crowds who connected deeply with his music. Yet behind the scenes, the lifestyle he once described was no longer metaphor. It was reality. The nights were long, the excess was constant, and the loneliness grew louder. Fame didn't bring peace. It amplified the emptiness he had always written about. The world was celebrating his success, while Abel was quietly unraveling beneath it. Still, the music remained honest. His lyrics didn't soften. They didn't pretend healing had arrived. Instead, they documented the cost of exposure, what happens when pain becomes a product, and the artist is expected to relive it on stage every night. Trilogy was more than a commercial success. It was a warning. The Weeknd had arrived, but the question remained: At what cost? By the time Abel Tesfaye began work on his first official studio album, the world was watching, and expectations were high. But instead of creating something safe or commercially friendly, the Weeknd chose to go deeper into the darkness. The result was Kissland. Released in 2013, Kissland was a cinematic journey through isolation, fear, and sensory overload. Inspired by relentless touring and the disorientation of sudden fame, the album felt unsettling by design. Its sound was slow, distorted, and immersive, mirroring Abel's mental state as he traveled from city to city, alone in hotel rooms, surrounded by noise yet disconnected from reality. The album explored the idea of being lost in success, lost in excess, and lost in identity. Fame had given Abel access to the world, but it had also stripped away a sense of grounding. The joy he once chased now felt distant, replaced by paranoia and emotional numbness. Kissland confused many listeners. It wasn't filled with radio hits. It didn't offer easy comfort. Critics were divided, and commercially, it didn't match the explosive response of his earlier work. But artistically, it was honest, and honesty had always been the Weeknd's compass. In hindsight, Kissland wasn't a failure. It was a confession, a necessary step in understanding the cost of turning pain into performance. And the moment Abel realized, something had to change. In 2015, the Weeknd stood at a crossroads. After the intensity of Kissland, Abel Tesfaye knew he could no longer remain hidden in the shadows. But instead of abandoning his identity, he chose to evolve it. The result was Beauty Behind the Madness, an album that bridged darkness and accessibility, pain and pop. For the first time, the Weeknd embraced the mainstream spotlight. Songs like Can't Feel My Face and The Hills dominated global charts, blending infectious melodies with themes of addiction, emotional emptiness, and self-destruction. Even at his most popular, Abel refused to dilute his truth. The album was a massive success. It earned multiple Grammy Awards, broke streaming records, and turned the Weeknd into a global name. He was no longer just an underground phenomenon. He was everywhere. Award shows, radio, film soundtracks, his presence was unavoidable. Yet beneath the success, the tension remained. Fame had arrived in full force, but fulfillment still felt distant. The music reflected this contradiction. Beauty layered over madness, success masking internal conflict. With this era, Abel proved something rare, that vulnerability could exist at the center of pop culture. And in doing so, he changed the sound of modern music forever. By 2016, the Weeknd had reached a level of fame few artists ever experience. But success came with a cost. Expectations, repetition, and the risk of becoming trapped in his own image. Abel Tesfaye knew that to survive, he had to change. Not quietly, not gradually, but symbolically. With Starboy, he did exactly that. The album opened with a statement of intent, a literal killing of his former self in the music video. Gone was the quiet figure hiding in the shadows. In his place stood an artist embracing power, excess, and self-awareness. Working with Daft Punk, Abel fused R&B, pop, and electronic music into a futuristic sound that felt both confident and cold. Starboy wasn't about innocence or pain alone. It was about control. Control over image, over success, over identity. The themes were still dark, but they were sharper, more deliberate. Abel wasn't drowning in excess anymore. He was observing it. The album debuted at #1, proving that reinvention didn't mean abandonment. Fans followed. Critics adjusted. And the Weeknd cemented his ability to evolve without losing his core. The darkness was still there, but now it was intentional. In 2020, the Weeknd returned with After Hours, not just an album, but a cinematic universe. From the moment the red suit appeared, it was clear this era was intentional. Every visual, every lyric, every performance told a story of excess, regret, and self-destruction. The album was deeply personal. Songs explored heartbreak, guilt, addiction, and emotional emptiness. Themes Abel had lived with for years, now sharpened by reflection. Tracks like Blinding Lights and Save Your Tears paired upbeat melodies with devastating emotional weight, creating a contrast that felt disturbingly honest. The red suit became a symbol of ego pain and the public persona spiraling out of control. Abel's bruised face and distorted smiles were not for shock value. They were mirrors, a commentary on fame, self-destruction, and the cost of being consumed by image. After Hours was both a commercial and artistic triumph. Blinding Lights became one of the biggest songs in music history, while the album redefined how pop music could tell long-form stories. This wasn't just music anymore. It was confession turned into cinema. In 2021, The Weeknd took the stage of one of the world's most watched events, the Super Bowl halftime show. But he didn't arrive with guest stars or distractions. There were no gimmicks, no compromises, just him, his vision, and a stadium full of anticipation. The performance was a masterclass in artistry and control. Red lights flooded the arena. Fog and mirrors distorted reality. Dancers moved like phantoms. Every element was deliberate. A cinematic experience designed to immerse the audience in The Weeknd's world. For years, Abel had sung about fame, heartbreak, and isolation. On this stage, he showed that he had mastered both performance and narrative. Each note, each gesture, each visual was calculated to evoke emotion. Suspense, wonder, nostalgia, and awe. He wasn't just performing songs, he was telling a story of the man behind the mystery. Millions watched, but the moment belonged to him. For a few fleeting minutes, the stadium, the cameras, and the world existed inside the universe Abel Tesfaye had created. A universe where darkness could be beautiful, pain could be art, and pop culture could bend to a singular vision. The Weeknd had arrived. Not just as a performer, but as a storyteller, a visionary, and a master of spectacle. The Weeknd's story is more than chart-topping hits or sold-out arenas. It's a testament to the power of authenticity, reinvention, and mystery. From the shadows of Toronto's streets to the world's brightest stages, Abel Tesfaye has reshaped modern music, blending darkness and pop, pain and performance, secrecy and spectacle. His influence is everywhere. Artists emulate his cinematic sound, his moody visuals, and his fearless honesty. Songs that were once underground anthems now define a generation. Yet through it all, The Weeknd has remained unshakable, refusing to compromise his vision or dilute the emotional truth of his work.